Okay, let's call the Wednesday, March 25th Planning Commission meeting to order at 6:02. And we'll do a roll call again.
Leanne Kashmarsky, White Oak Drive.
Bethany Cody, Lake Enchantment.
Jim Johnson, White Oak Drive.
Linda Winslow, Norwood Street.
Jason McCarthy, Planning and Zoning Administrator.
Approval of the agenda, please.
I move that we approve it.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes from the previous meeting of February 25th, 2026. Month ago.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, public comment. Since there's no one here, I don't think we're gonna get any public comment. So we'll move on to 6A, new business. Planning Commission member needs to be reappointed to the Rec Committee per the Recreation Committee bylaws. Discussion. Jason?
Nothing further to add other than, yes, we need to fill that billet. We currently have a board member who serves on the Recreation Committee per the bylaws, and we need a Planning Commission member to serve. This would only be for the remainder of the year, I believe. Wait, let me just double check that. Well, I believe it could be for the remainder of the year, but I also believe it is for the remainder of the year, and not an extended period. The Recreation Committee will, they meet monthly. It's on the third Tuesday of the month, and it's at 5:30. It's probably a little bit more fun than some of the other meetings that you might attend, especially with the recreation plan update this year, but looking for a volunteer, and poor Denny is not here. Oh. What?
Nominate Denny.
Well, you can, provided he's willing to serve on it, unless anybody else wants to volunteer. I know time is a crunch, especially for the mothers here, and Jim is a restaurant owner.
No, the restaurant owns me, Jason, sorry.
Yeah, well, there you go, all the way around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I think Denny would be a great job, but I am not by any means nominating him. That's your job.
Well, the only thing I worry about is, he said he was gonna be out of town quite a bit.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it's gonna be that week or that day, or it seems like he's, been gone a fair amount right now, so.
Well, it is once a month, and he doesn't have to, whoever the member is, doesn't have to necessarily be at every meeting. It's filling that billet is really what the supervisor's looking for, or being able to nominate somebody for that.
Well, how about this? How about if you nominate him or ask him or whatever, and if he wants to do it, fine. If he doesn't, I can do it.
Appreciate that, Jim. Can somebody make a motion to that effect? Because the chair cannot make a motion.
I motion that we reach out to Denny and see if he's interested in being part of the Recreation Committee, and if he declines, then for Jim to do it.
Okay.
I'll support.
Any more discussion? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. Are you gonna contact him then,
I will
Jason?
do that, yes.
Okay. Or is there a meeting once a month? I'm trying to look. I had a screenshot of that, but I can't find it now.
Yep, it's the third Tuesday of each month, provided that there's actually something to talk about. I mean, last year, I think we met like once or twice. Obviously, with the recreation plan being updated, there'll be a little bit more intensive, but it's not necessarily every month. It's only if there's business to be conducted.
And, okay, so there's Brian Hummel, Christy McBride, and Tom Fury,
Yep.
and Linda. Okay.
And,
How often did you meet last year? You said two? Twice?
Two times only.
It's not very much. Huh. Okay. All right. So, 6B, public hearing request. Proposed trade shop to be located on property located within the general business zoning district per the Marquette Township zoning ordinance, Article 15, Section 15.05. Never heard of a trade shop before. Jason?
Yeah, it's defined in the ordinance as plumbing, carpentry, electrical contractor. So that land use is permitted in the development district, but because the, same as Mount Manufacturing, when the land use like that is adjacent to residential development and or zoning, a public hearing is required. So Mr. Holcomb from Cherry Creek Construction, if you haven't looked them up, they're kind of a higher end boutique residential type of contractor. He has an accepted offer because Mount Manufacturing is moving into the former Ride North / Best Buy building, and there is an accepted offer from Jesse and I and Mount Manufacturing on the building, provided that they can gain zoning approval. So as such, we received a full application and payment and a narrative, and it's all there that you can look up and or review prior to the public hearing if you choose to schedule it, but we're recommending the second meeting in April for that, barring any further questions. I did recommend to Sam that he be present for this meeting. Unfortunately, him and his family are on vacation, and I just said that if there were any questions that came up beyond what the scope of the narrative that he provided that should address some of the things that I commented to him on, then I would relay those questions back to him ahead of the public hearing if it's scheduled.
I thought his narrative was very thorough. and answered a lot of
Yeah, I
questions.
gave him Jesse's, on the same property, basically what Jesse provided to us with Mount and, the concerns about outdoor storage, all those things,
It's addressed.
they're addressed, yep.
Mhm.
And it gives us something then, the conditions of approval, if you do choose to approve it, we can make sure that those are inserted into the meeting minutes and made part of the record, so that not only was it expressed in his narrative, but it was approved as such as well.
And the current use has had no problems within that building, and he's even,
Yeah, no problems other than a little bit of outside storage, but that was
nothing
corrected.
with
pretty
the
quick.
inside and the use of the manufacturing, so I don't see any issues for
Yeah,
the construction use or the trade.
it's a sector that we need more of, that business is currently located outside of the community, so it's bringing a new business to the market, to our particular community. And if you've looked around at any of their projects to their website, I think you'll see that they do exceptional work, and hopefully they conduct their business as well.
And that building actually lends itself well for that use.
It's a great central location for them.
So I'll make a motion to request a public hearing for a proposed trade shop to be located on the property located within the general business zoning district per the Marquette Township zoning ordinance.
For Wednesday, April
22nd.
22nd.
I just looked that up.
6 p.m.?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect.
I'll second it.
Okay. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right, opposed? Motion carries. No unfinished business. Correspondence. US 41 Corridor Committee meeting minutes from February 10th, 2026.
Yeah, nothing too juicy in that version of the meeting minutes, but sometimes, there's a site plan review, or like the one actually in Marquette Township. If you read that, you'll see that there's a new quick trip proposed, but that is a group that administers the very access management principles that were described in our joint meeting. So every municipality that has frontage along US 41 that subscribes and has access management principles embedded into their ordinance. They meet once a month to review projects like that to make sure that those standards are being upheld and then to provide any insight that goes into that. It's one of my favorite meetings of the month, actually, because you typically do find out about new developments and, in other communities as well. And it's just it's a good group.
Is this,
They're just
site plan
informational.
For a quick trip, is that where that hotel is?
Yes. Yeah, the whole corner and then a couple properties to the south of that, I think, as well.
Oh, yeah, that is used as living space, I think, for some folks.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was interesting in their update. People should be really aware that they're going to do a crush and shape on M35 from County Road 480 to US 41. That is going to be a big impact there.
Yeah, so those are just informational as well as, unless there's any more questions about that. 6B, just letting you know that we did get a resolution passed by the Township Board, which then started the 63-day review period for the master plan update. So that's required by state law, and that was completed last week.
On that crush and shape on M35, weren't they gonna put a roundabout in there also? 35 and 492?
We saw that a long time ago.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
part of it.
It's not listed.
So why are they gonna do that now and then tear it up and put a roundabout in?
It must be a different segment of roadway, Jim. On M35 to replace culverts at Warner Creek, letting in March, the work will involve a 2-week closure of M35 with a detour.
Well, from 480 is from,
From 480 to US.
all the way through there. That doesn't seem to make much sense to me, but
Yeah, I can definitely reach out to them and give you an update at our next meeting as to what the overall plan is there, and if I can get a hold of any plans, I'll share them with you.
tell them to wait and then give us the money for Commerce Drive.
Sure. I will make that request.
We'll all go to the road commission meeting.
We need it way more than they do. I can tell you that. That's not that bad there.
Are you talking a roundabout at 35 and 480 or 35 and 492?
35, 492.
Oh, that would make that connect not so awkward.
The layout's almost perfect for it,
Yeah.
actually. The geometry's already there.
Yep.
Oh, but it's right in the middle of the Iron Heritage Trail, like, too.
They'll just move it a bit, maybe.
Okay. 9A, Township Board Report. Linda, you're up.
Okay, the Township Board met on March 18th. And what we did was we approved the master plan to go out, which Jason's already spoke to. We renewed, we'll be looking at the library contract, and if you haven't seen it already, Peter White did do a 2025 community report, and it's filled with really great information. So if you're out and about, stop at the library, pick it up, or it's probably online as well. We also are purchasing a 2025 Chevy Tahoe for the police package that we provide to the county sheriff. And we are awarded the Forestville Road paving bid. So Forestville will be getting some road work done. That's been in the works for a really long time, and we held off due to maybe a PUD being built back there. We will be upgrading our township website so that it's ADA compliant. And that is pretty much what we discussed. The ballots did go out to the people who wanted mail-in ballots. I saw it on my table today for my spouse got his, yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of how that went. And I think that was it for the most part. We did have some public comment from one of our public members, so that also was provided to us. Any questions?
What part of Forestville is gonna get paved or
Well,
whatever?
Huron Woods to the intersection.
Yeah, and I'm gonna go drive down it. I haven't been down it for a long time and see what it looks like, but it was promised to those residents. And I was happy to hear Lynn say that the reason our road money is less than anticipated is because of the dark store issues, that truly impacted our plan, and the people that built that plan did not recognize, did not know, that whole dark store issue was gonna compromise what we could do. And so we're still paying out of the general fund. That's a big hit. So I'm glad she addressed that.
Okay,
Thank you.
I'm assuming there was no rec committee report?
No, but they will meet later this month, and we'll begin the rec plan update in earnest.
Okay, so you're gonna let me know if Dennis says yes or no?
Yes.
And planning and zoning report.
Right, so, let's see, the master plan update, there's been some behind-the-scenes discussion regarding the Westwood Mall and putting people in touch with each other, developers and the property owner. Jersey Mike's is going to be open soon. The rec plan update will take quite a bit of time. We did present to Rotary today, our department did, which is always kind of a nice exercise to talk about the things that you're working on throughout the year. Usually we get invited to speak to them once a year, so that was nice. And just really making sure that the master plan's ready to go for our meeting in May. I will be on vacation next week, and so if you need me, call Eric. So that's my update for now,
Okay,
unless you have any questions.
just question, did anything get finalized with what's gonna be going into that property there between Texas Roadhouse and Panera, in the back?
Other than the size of the site plan, the 8,000 and 12,000, I think respectively, square foot size buildings or suites, nothing, no. Not as far as like who is it or when.
Okay,
I suspect we'll start getting sign permit inquiries soon, and that should lead to solving the mystery.
Is there any information about the car wash on 41?
I saw them clearing the lot today, so I think they're gonna be.
They're moving ahead. Okay.
Yeah, as soon as weight restrictions are off, I'm sure they'll get going.
Have the tenants at the mall, have they been able to move any merchandise out or do anything?
I'm not aware of anything like that. That would have to go directly to whoever that works in those stores, but I'm not sure.
any announcements? No public here for public comment. So additional comments from planning commissioners. Leanna?
None.
I
Ash?
guess it's just what we talked about with the, short-term rentals, and the housing and capping them and not capping them, and just, I know it takes a while to get things going, and we've talked about it for a while too, and we're at 30 and keep saying 50. You mentioned there could be a solution of just stopping it in general, but I think we should keep working on that. Well, we haven't had a rush of applicants anyways, but during our next rush, I think we should at least kind of have a plan on if we do want to cap it. I think, it sounded like we're comfortable somewhere capping it at a percentage, whatever that number is. My only thought was just, if we're thinking 50 or something, or if we're gonna pursue somewhere around that, but we get more applicants and then we're up to 40, 47, and then we just don't do anything, or else we do it and we're at 49 and said, oh yeah, we were gonna cap it at 50, like I'd rather have it now while we're at that lower and have that future plan and work towards that, and yeah, just kind of thought mention that.
Well, if we did follow what the city did, for the 3%, it would be 90, which is a lot.
Which is a lot. So wherever our comfort level is just to continue talking about it, just so, I don't think we have any issues. I'm very happy with our short-term rentals. I think we do have some, and I think it's fine, you know, I'm glad people are allowed to do what they want with their properties, and that we're having some tourism, people stay right here and take off on their snowmobiles and use our restaurants, and it's great. There is gotta be that even mix though, so I just think we should continue talking with it and just at least have that future solution before we get to
Have
that.
the focus now versus waiting.
So people are prepared, they know who we are and where we are.
Or that we're
It's
getting
in
close
place.
to our number, or if people are thinking about doing it, but it seems like the fad died down a little bit. I think people are realizing they're hard to maintain and find people to go clean them and do things like that. So maybe it will never be an issue. Maybe we set that number and we never even hit the number.
Yeah, I was just doing some quick math. So we made our zoning text amendment to allow them in 2018, so that's almost eight years, right? And we have, I think it's 35. That's 4 a year. And they've slowed down progressively in the last 3 years. So I think 50 is probably a pretty solid number, and that would give us, based on past permits, 3 to 4 years worth more.
Well, maybe it's like Carl said, it's kind of a pain to clean up after everybody all the time compared to a 6-month lease or 1-year lease, you know? Lot
Well,
more
when you
work
look at
involved.
what rents are
I know,
for long-term, or,
Yeah.
you know,
maybe they're not renting them out like they thought they would either, though. Could be that
well, the
also.
city's gonna be more desirable because of the proximity of the lake and the recreational opportunities. It's gonna always, you know, shift to a lower percentage the further away you get from those recreational hubs. Even though we are a recreational hub and we have a lot of recreation in the area, the livelihood and the, you know, the downtown, I think that all draws more than the township would naturally.
Linda?
So I just have one thing for sure. August 1st is Community Day, and the team did meet, and we would like someone from the Planning Commission to be there to share the master plan. So whether that's a poster board or a person or what, but because the group did come and survey the participants at Community Day for their input. And so I think bringing that back to people saying, this is where we are, is important. Those people, it's a well-attended event for people who have children under 10. And then there is an evening concert for those people who are older that is fairly well-attended as well. So, you know, just kind of like, I think we need to show off what we did.
I think that's a good idea, and certainly staff can assist with
Yep, however they,
putting together some highlights of what the master plan reflected based on comments received.
yeah, so however that is. So thank you for that. And I also don't want our small animal, I don't know if it's a procedure, policy, law, whatever, to get lost. So I think we need to do our chicken ordinance and kind of finish up on that too. It probably won't take very long.
Was there a single comment on the master plan update about chickens?
I don't know, I have to
No,
look.
but cats, in the responses on the survey, there were a number of responses about a cat park, and I kept wondering if
Oh,
that was
cat
some type of a joke or if it was real. Who takes the cats out?
That must have been a city
Oh, I don't know. We'll have to look.
And I looked at it and I'm like, didn't say dog.
The cat park?
A cat's park.
Oh,
Duly noted.
maybe that's what it was.
Anything else? Okay. I just had one question, of course, Jason.
Of course.
And I'm thinking this is probably not gonna be possible, but I'll just ask it anyway. With that road disappearing and everybody up in arms about it, the Starbucks Road, has anybody ever talked to, or do you think it would be possible for, is it still Koski's collision there?
Lafayette.
Lafayette.
Lafayette, yeah, that's right. He's got that spare lot, that fenced-in lot there, and I never really see that many cars in it. Do you think it would be possible to have somebody talk to him and see if it'd be possible to have that road put in, not for the township to buy it, but see if the owners of the development, the strip mall, would be interested in that, since, it would really help them out. It's not the township's responsibility to do that, but maybe
Well, we can
follow.
certainly start the conversation, and it could fall within the DDA's purview, because it is in the DDA, and that may be a way to incentivize. But yeah, I can talk to Nick and see what their temperature is on that.
Yeah, you never know if it's enough money for that. I can move those cars somewhere else. I think there'd be enough room in there. If even if just one way instead of two-way
Yeah,
traffic.
24 feet would be a proper drive lane there
Yeah.
for commercial activity.
Something anyway, to help alleviate the issues.
And then we'd have to also pair that with comparison to where the new driveway for the development, the residential development is in separation. So, yeah, potentially.
Because they'd be going right up into that middle row in between Goodwill, It's kind of like a perfect shot right up in there.
Yep, yeah.
I
I'll take a
looked
look
at-
at that and make a couple calls.
Okay. Shoot, I just kind of something else about that too. Okay, that's all I have, so meeting adjourned. I see John looking back there.
Jason?
Were you hearing everybody in here, kind of, yeah?
Nice.
I know with Leanne,